Hey, I wanted to do a video that contrasts two different styles of geodesic dome greenhouses. This is a strut style 3-frequency geodesic dome greenhouse by Growing Spaces, and the interior of this was finished by the owner. And you can see the struts are individual 2x4s that connect to aluminum hubs. And what's important to know about those hubs is they're just aluminum plates. So you have the south facing with just regular polycarbonate. It absorbs the sun. The north side does reflect that back. You have a couple vents at the top. And you actually are above freezing year round. There's an orange tree, lemon tree, a variety of, crops that you would not normally be able to grow in central Utah. This includes some thermal batteries in terms of water. There's a automatic vent opener at the top, as well as an electronic opener that has a fan on it. Now that fan actually runs off of solar power. So the hubs actually are on both sides of the 2x4 struts, and there's holes that go through it. You use carriage bolts to basically create effectively an I-beam there. You can see there's that aluminum foil type insulation on the north side that reflects the energy back as well. So this system here, it's about $40 a square foot. That's the retail price that Growing Domes sells these for. You could build this style probably more on the order if you get all your own parts, and probably about $7 a square foot. So there's a lot of money you're giving to have somebody do this for you. On the exterior of this, a lot of this came with the original kit. In fact, all of it came with the Growing Domes kit. You can see that the MDF has probably been changed out for some regular wood at this point. One thing I don't like too is every time, you always need to seal your end wall channels in polycarbonate. So make those are sealed. The other thing to keep in mind is that when you run polycarbonate horizontally, it's going to attract condensation. The other thing that's interesting about the Growing Spaces one is they do use these aluminum trim pieces, and that's how they basically, seal things up. They have basically some aircraft aluminum tape under there that acts as the sealing agent. So, you probably want to put some caulking there to make it 4.0, but this hasn't leaked in 10 years, according to the owner. The aluminum trim seems to work acceptably well with some tape over the top of it. So there's an inlet fan that's battery operated. It complements the outlet fan at the top. They used a standard 2-foot stem wall from Growing Spaces here, along with the brick exterior. Yeah, and now what I want to do is contrast that. That was a Growing Spaces kits they offer for $40 just for the kits. I wanted to contrast that with the Good Karma style. Good Karmas use triangles as shown. You just make two different styles of triangles and screw them together. Use a jig to be able to create that. Here's the jig, and you could do this for about $5 a square foot complete. It depends on what kind of wood you use. $5-6 a square foot. So it makes really good sense. I like the Good Karma style better. I think it's strong. You can see how the triangles, you make individual triangles and then you screw them together. And on a 3-frequency, all you need are 2 triangles. That's all you have to build. And then for the door, the entry, you do have to adjust that a little bit here on the door, and as well as down here where it mates to your stem wall. So I have a 2-foot stem wall down here. But so these are basically half triangles. So it's very easy to do. But when you're actually constructing a Good Karma, they go on pretty easy because all you're doing is you're taking these individual triangles and just screwing them together. It actually can look really nice if you take your time. You can see I'm a little bit decayed with all the dust I've moved in. This has been an agricultural greenhouse for a while. So normally the door in a greenhouse like this would be right here instead of having a vestibule. I used a polycarbonate H channel to kind of seal the hubs, and then liberally applied some polycarbonate neutral caulking. Instead of using the H channel, just I'll go ahead and have the factory actually cut the trim. This is a really good galvanized trim. Have them cut that at the angles in the factory. If I go aluminum, it would end up looking something like this. I think it looks good, but I like the galvanized steel more. It's just more rigid, and I think it looks stronger. Oh, this technically is a 3-frequency. You might think it's a 4-frequency looking at it, but it's actually just triangles about 8 foot per leg here, then that were bisected with an interior triangle just to give it strength. Biggest lessons learned is when you're using wood, you have to do a really, really good job treating that wood for greenhouses. Failure to do that means you're going to lose your structure. I like the polyiso or even polyurethane or polystyrene insulation as triangles, so it lays flush with the struts or the triangles. So as you can see here, in this case, what I did is I used expanding foam to seal this is polyisocyanurate panels, but I used it to seal it inside of the triangles. This would be a vent. One thing I don't like about the triangle windows, when you're in an area with extremely strong wind, like we are here, the wind will catch it. But that's one thing to consider. That's why I don't really like the triangular shaped windows. So, you know, that got ripped off by the wind. But you can see over here, we were fine there. We were fine there. And even over here on this side, we were fine up there. So it really has to do a lot with which vector your wind's following. And if the doors open up to that, creating that static pressure, that'll rip the window off. But one really important thing to have is a vent at the top. So my dome is about 20 feet high, and you can see at the very top I have that vent with the 2 automatic openers and the chain. And it's when you're up on top of there, it's like a hairdryer is blowing. The buoyancy stack effect of the air inside this dome, heated by the sun, it just blasts the air out through the top.